Rapper Travis Scott has agreed to pay for the funerals of the victims who died at the Astroworld Music Festival on Friday night.
Now, meanwhile, lawsuits are already being filed on behalf of 35 different plaintiffs, and that number it is expected to grow.
I think it's self-evident that this concert was planned incredibly poorly, that no regard was given to the safety of these young people at the concert, that there was no emergency response mechanism in place to help those who were in an extremist situation. There was not enough medical personnel, enough security personnel, and there were more people there than should have been there.
Well, this tragedy certainly shining the spotlight on the safety of these popular music festivals. Pop culture expert Ralphie Aversa, who also hosts USA Today's Entertain This, is here now to discuss the fallout from Friday night's event and how it might impact future festivals. Ralphie, we want to thank you for taking time and joining us this morning.
Good morning, John and Hazel.
Good morning. Now, the problems at the Astroworld Festival, they started earlier in the day with fans rushing to get into the stadium. Is that normal? And have you ever attended Astroworld? Do you know the setup there?
I'm not 100% aware of the setup, other than obviously the reports that we've seen since the weekend as far as NRG Park in Houston, where Astroworld has been held every year since 2018, sans, of course, last year due to the pandemic. As far as that video, John, that you mentioned, yeah, we did see reporters who were on the scene at the local TV affiliates in Houston posting that footage of patrons seemingly hopping gates and circumventing screenings to just rush into what was a general admission pit where this crowd surge happened. No, that's not normal at all.
That's an insane scene. Now, there is now a criminal investigation underway into these events, everything leading up to Friday night's tragedy. So what's the likelihood that charges could be filed against Travis Scott?
Hazel, there's certainly more questions than answers right now. And, you know, local authorities have, A, described this criminal investigation as being in its infancy, and B, the mayor of Houston telling CNN that it could take at least weeks, maybe even longer than that. So it's really unclear yet who is going to be held liable, if at all, from a criminal standpoint. We do know that there are two past incidents with Travis Scott, one in 2015, one in 2017. He pleaded guilty to one charge of, I believe it was inciting a riot on both of those accounts.
Yeah, there was one, I believe, in Switzerland. I mean, like you said, he has a history of this. So do you feel like this is going to destroy or really, I don't know, have a huge effect on his career?
It's so unclear yet because, you know, as you've mentioned and we've already kind of alluded to, there are so many different tentacles to this story. You talk about concert safety, you talk about the future of performing live at a venue or at a festival of this size. And then certainly, yeah, you zero in on Scott as well. Certainly a huge name, not just in hip hop, but in pop culture. I mean, deals with Air Jordan and McDonald's and obviously all the success he's had with his music too. So it's really unclear yet, but obviously such an unthinkable and unspeakable tragedy. It would be hard to think that it doesn't affect him in some way.
Yeah, that's for sure. Ralphie, I was reading and I was surprised by this. The Houston police chief met with Travis Scott before the event. The fire chief said that Scott would have ended his performance earlier, that maybe some of the lives could have been saved. Now, is this the artist or even the promoter's responsibility? More people culpable in this?
Yeah, so it's a really tough call. You know, John, I've seen a lot of footage surface recently of Dave Grohl from a concert a number of years ago in which he stopped the concert because he saw something happening in the crowd and he wanted one of the patrons to be attended to. One of the things I thought of immediately was, you know, Dave Grohl's been doing this for decades, obviously, first with Nirvana and then the Foo Fighters. So it's hard to compare, you know, what Dave Grohl does on stage to what Travis Scott does on stage. That said, what did Travis see or not see? What did the stage manager see or not see? Security guards, what protocols were in place? These are all things that the investigation hopefully will give us the answers to.
And despite having incidents like these happening, I mean, these festivals are really popular and they draw huge crowds. So do you think that this is going to affect other festivals in the future? Do you think they'll put a halt to them?
I don't think it's going to put a halt to them. If I had to guess, Hazel, I would say, if anything, it's going to only make those festivals hopefully more safer. These protocols now are going to really be drilled down on finally, very much so, to the point where, you know, hopefully something like this can't happen again.
Yeah, no doubt, and money talks in that regard. In the end, how much money do you think this could cost the artist, the promoter? This could really get big, I would imagine.
Well, John, you mentioned what, 35 plaintiffs are reporting. We have, at least 20 civil suits that have already been, filed. And then obviously, you're still working on a criminal investigation, which is obviously a separate thing. But who knows? I mean, this is something that could go on for a long time, because it's not just then these civil lawsuits. You're going to have different types of insurance claims. Does insurance cover it? Do they not? Does Scott's past behavior impact that at all? I mean, this is something that's going to play out for quite a while. And yes, the dollar figures could get rather staggering.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the biggest cost are those lives that were lost
No
that
doubt.
day.
Absolutely. 8 victims, age 14 through 27, the youngest 14 years old. He was a 9th grader in Houston. I mean, just imagine being in high school. And then, of course, maybe you read the story as well. We had talked about it, but his brother spoke to people, Danish Baig, who died protecting his fiance. I mean, just again, these stories are just so heartbreaking. And just to think, these people are going to this festival that was delayed last year due to the pandemic, something they've been looking forward to for over a year. And, whether, of course, you lost a life or you were injured, because there are still people recovering from injuries, or even just, I stumbled across one video that I wish I hadn't stumbled across.
Yeah.
And I was just watching it from here. So if you had attended and you were in that crowd and you did survive, but you're still going through this, you mentioned, of course, Travis Scott is going to pay for the funeral costs of those 8 victims. He's also teaming up with an online therapy company to hopefully provide support to some fans who were affected by this. But yeah, it's far reaching, to say the least.
Well, hopefully it leads to positive changes. Ralphie, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks, John and Hazel.
Thank you, Ralphie.